another day out in the forest. I'm down in Tullymore. This is my third day in a row out shooting autumnal colours, and it's quite ironic the difference in the places where we go to, because the last 2 days I was down at the Roe Park in Limavady, and I reckon I may have missed the best of it. We had a Storm Callum came, and I think a lot of the colour has actually gone off the trees. So I was a little bit dubious coming down here, thinking that I probably would have missed a lot of the colour. And I think it's the exact opposite, that it's probably, I'm about 2 weeks early again. It's quite frustrating because we're getting some really lovely light, some dappled light coming through the trees. Now there is a bit of colour, there are leaves on the stones, and there is a little bit of yellow. It just depends where you go to in the forest. And ironically, I was down here probably 3 to 4 weeks ago just having a scout around, and had specifically found this shot, this composition, which is a beautiful big old twisted tree, and the river kind of snakes down and then turns right, and there's a lovely bend in it, and you could probably shoot it, at the moment I'm shooting downriver, but you could probably shoot upriver as well, and I just think the colour's maybe not just there. But I think the key thing that's possibly going to transform the scene is going to be a little bit of light. I'm not overly fussed if it hits the foreground, but probably some light coming through the trees and through the leaves would probably make the colours pop a little bit more. One of the things I want to talk about as well is just a few tips that I've kind of found quite helpful when it comes to shooting autumnal colours. So number one, the first thing would probably be to use a polarizer. So whether you're shooting on a wide lens or a telephoto lens, people often think that the polarizer is really only good for cutting out glare and cutting out reflections in the waters, which yes it is, and obviously that's one of the main reasons why you use it. But another thing is that it actually boosts your colours. So it's amazing. I really noticed it yesterday with the autumnal colours, that as I rotated the polarizer, because it was cutting out an awful lot of glare from the colours, it was really saturating the yellows and the greens and the oranges. So definitely, if you're shooting the autumn or anything that's got a really vibrant kind of scene, use a polarizer. Even if you're not shooting any water or you don't think there's any glare, the polarizer will definitely still cut out some of the reflections and some of the glare on the leaves, and it'll also really help you to boost your colours. Scrambled down to the bottom, and I did think that I wasn't going to probably shoot down here again, because I've shot it in a few other years. The difference this time is that in years before, in previous years, the colours were pretty much all yellow and orange, so it was full autumn colour. Today there's actually still quite a lot of green, so kind of up and around that area there is still quite green, but we have this one tree here that's really vibrantly yellow, and at the minute the sun's just coming through in patches. There's a little bit of the sun that is hitting the side of the bridge, so I am basically basing my exposure on the highlights. I'm trying not to blow them out. I'm not actually including any sky, but I'm still using a grad, just pulled down slightly because there's quite a lot of sun coming through the tops of the trees, so I'm trying to retain as much detail in that. But my composition, one of the things I like to use is a rule of thirds. So there's three, I guess, strong elements in this image. One is the bridge, one is the yellow tree, and one is the white water that's in the river down in the bottom right. So the way I've set up my composition is I've basically put each of these elements on one of the thirds. So the top left third is going to be the bridge, the top right third is going to be the yellow tree, and the bottom right third is going to be the white water in the river. And I think then the left hand side of the image has the shape of the river kind of coming down out of the bridge and then down into where it kind of trickles through a lovely sort of like few stones, and it creates a little bit of white water which is coming out nicely. My exposure's 6 seconds, so it's just creating just a nice little bit of water blur. But yeah, it's sometimes you can come here and if the water had been much higher or much lower, the composition might not have worked as well. So I guess just fortunate that that's the way things are today. Tip number 2 for shooting autumnal colour is shoot in a mixture of different weather conditions. So today we've got intermittent sun, so it's coming out in places, some nice like shafts of light coming through. Yesterday I was shooting and it was almost completely cloudy. Now this is the 3rd day in a row I've been shooting autumn colours, and the first 2 days, the first day was complete blue sky. So some of the locations I went to, I was finding that half the scene was almost completely in shadow and the other half was lit. So it was almost impossible to balance exposures. It was quite difficult. I went back again to the same location yesterday, completely flat light. But the compositions that I couldn't shoot the day before, I was able to shoot yesterday because it just was so much easier. And even though the sun wasn't directly hitting the autumn colours, there were still really, really nice colours in it. So today we've got a bit of a mixture. So we've got cloud and we have sun coming in and going out. So it's a nice mixture today, but definitely second tip would be shoot in whatever conditions. So don't always be going out unless it's cloudy, or don't be waiting about until it's sunny, until you go out. Go out, shoot whatever the conditions are. Sometimes it's only by going out. So on Monday, when I went to the couple of the locations, I realised that I needed to come back to reshoot it on a cloudy day because the composition wouldn't work. I wouldn't have known that if I didn't go out when it was sunny. So definitely head out, all kind of weather, and just have fun. Final tip, so tip number 3, don't always shoot with a wide angle lens. Now I am probably the most guilty of this here. 99% of my landscapes I shoot with a 16-35. Probably 80% of that I shoot around 16 to 20mm. I just love shooting wide. Seems to be the style that I have. But when it comes to autumnal colour, stick on a longer lens. Try and compress the scene, try and isolate subjects. Now, ironically today, I haven't taken the 16-35mm off. I think just because of where I am, and I want to capture not just the colour, but the river, the water, the stepping stones, there's so much else that I want to get all in the one scene. But on the previous autumn vlog that I did, I would say most of that day I actually shot with the 70-200 and like just isolated maybe single trees, or gone in for like an abstract shot with just lovely colours, maybe some light coming through, and you're kind of just picking out little details in the landscape. So go for a longer lens and just try and look at scenes within scenes, so you're not always shooting wide all the time. And I think autumn really, really lends itself. So recapping, using a polarizer, tip number 1. Tip number 2, shoot no matter what the weather. So go out and shoot in the sun, go out and shoot in the shade. You will get a real mixture of different kinds of shots. And then tip number 3, shoot with a zoom lens. So kind of go in, compress the scene, look for the scene within the scene, and that should give you a really, 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 really nice portfolio of varied autumn colours.